Hey, what's up, y'all? RJ here with CV Tech, and today I'm going to take a look at the ZTE Warp 7 and the ZTE Warp Elite. Both of these phones here are available at Boost Mobile, and I want to just kind of show you some of the similarities between these two phones. I'm going to give you the specs of the phones, run some tests, and just kind of show you how similar these phones really are. I was going to try to do like a comparison type test with these two phones here, but I can't seem to get everything straightened out like I want it to. So I'm just going to show you how similar the phones are and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get started. This phone, these phones right here, both have the same 5.5 inch 720p HD display. Both of them have a PPI of 267. Both of these phones both have cornering Gorilla Glass 3. Now both of these phones have the same 13 megapixel camera in the rear, records in full 1080 at 30 frames per second. Both have LED flashes down here on the bottom. On the front, you have the same 5 megapixel camera on the front. Both of them record in 720p HD in the front as well. Now both of these phones here, both of them do run the same 1.2 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon 410 processor. Both have 2 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of onboard storage. Both of them are expandable up to 64 gigabytes. The Warp 7 has a 3080 milliamp hour battery that is removable with around 26 hours of talk time, while the Warp Elite has a 3000 milliamp hour battery that is not replaceable with around 20 hours of talk time. The Warp 7 has Bluetooth 4.0, while the ZTE Warp Elite has Bluetooth 4.1. Now, look at these phones here. They are similar. On the left side here, you have of course, your SIM tray here, while it's clean here on the Warp 7. On the bottom, you have your micro USB charge. You have your micro USB charging port on the Warp Elite, while you have micro USB Type C on the Warp 7. On the right side, you got your power button, volume rockers here, and on top of the Elite, you have your SD card slot. Of course, the back, does show your cameras, flash, and your single rear speakers located in the same place. As you see here, both of them are fingerprint magnets. However, the Warp 7 does have a bit more grip than the Warp Elite. Both of them are pretty well at, being a no-slip phone. And also, the ZTE emblem here is in gold, while it's in silver on the Warp 7. Now, to power both these phones on, they're very similar. This one here runs Android 6.0.1 Marshmallow, while the Warp Elite has 5.1 Lollipop. Okay, for some reason, they never opted. ZTE is really bad about updating their phones. The phone's been out for 1 year. The phone here was just released. Both of them has the same exact screen, same resolution, same PPI. But if you look here closely, if you can tell, just looking, the screen on there, it's the same brightness, but the Warp 7 looks a bit more washed out, while the Warp Elite has a nice, crisp, clear look. It's hard to really might tell on the camera, but looking at them in person, the Warp Elite has a better screen. That's just my personal opinion. Right now, what I want to do is go into the settings here and show you how the settings layout is. It's basically the same layout and everything else. However, I have noticed, even though this phone here runs the same, both of them run the same processor and same everything, this phone here is a bit smoother, and I contribute that to Marshmallow on the Warp 7 as opposed to 5.1, because Marshmallow does run better, it makes the phone run smoother. So this phone here does run a bit smoother than the Warp Elite. Now going in here, of course, into storage. This has 5.78 gigabytes available right now after stuff has been downloaded, while I got just over 3 gigabytes remaining in here on the Warp Elite. Now, both of them has around 10 gigs when you get them from factory. So, okay, yeah. Now, right now, I do want to go in here, looking at the scrolling. This here scrolls top to bottom. while the Warp Elite scrolls left to right. No big deal, it's just different. So we're going to Geekbench 4. And as you see here, 1.1, 1.21 gigahertz, 1.1, 1.21 gigahertz, both of them at the same 1.87 gigabyte. Android is 6.0.1, Android 5.1. So let's go ahead and run this benchmark test here. Now these benchmarks do take a while, so I may have to pause and come back. But while this is running right now, what I want to make mention of is ZTE rarely updates their devices. Okay, this had 5.1. It never even got 5.1.1. Just 5.1. While the Warp 7 came out this year with Marshmallow 6.0. Now, this phone here does on extra. I'm trying to get my words right here. This phone here does have Marshmallow, has Lollipop, and other than that, this phone has global. It's global, and has a removable battery. Now, some will say, is it really worth picking up a phone like this here if you already have the Elite or have had the Elite? Is it really worth picking up the Warp 7 for $100? The phone is $100 right now at Best Buy or BoostMobile.com. But mostly anywhere you buy, it's going to be the same price. So, would I want to spend $100 on this device if I already have this device just because it runs Marshmallow, basically? I would say no. I would definitely not recommend it. While it does run a bit smoother, I have realized that the screen is not as good. The rear speaker is not as loud as the Warp Elite. And as you seen a minute ago, I'm not sure if it was on this video or another video, but the back button did stick and it would not work. So that's a known issue that's been going on with the Warp 7, is that the back, home, and recents buttons have been having issues. Now, it only happened to me once, but when I pushed back earlier, it would not back up. So, could be having issues there, of course. Both of them are great phones, though. Both of them like I said, has the same processor, but runs the same, has the same smoothness. And both of them are, like I said, are basically the exact same phone. It's just that ZTE does not update the software on their devices, so therefore, this phone here was brought out with the same exact specs as the Warp Elite. And, if it had a better processor or more internal storage or more RAM, I might could see, upgrading from the Warp Elite to the Warp 7. But having the same processor and everything, just having Marshmallow is the only difference. And if you have the Warp Elite, I do not recommend the upgrade at all. Now, if you have never had a Warp Elite or nothing like that, then yeah, I say shoot, $100, go ahead, and I would recommend the Warp 7. It's a great phone. I have used it. Has good call quality. The antenna and reception has been a little struggle in my area compared to the Warp Elite, to be honest with you. It seems to be stronger on the Warp Elite than the Warp 7. But other than that, this is a very solid built phone. I mean, it feels good in the hand. It's got a nice round curve to it. The front screen it's got very small bezels on the sides, and it just feels really good. Feels really nice. But I cannot sit here and say that it's an upgrade to the Warp Elite, because it's really not, other than the Marshmallow update. It just really does not bring anything else to the table other than that. So that's what I wanted to make mention of right there about that, was the fact that, they bring out a whole new phone. Is it really worth $100 just for one or two minor things? If you got the Warp Elite, I definitely say no. So right now, I'm going to let these tests run out, and when they get done, I'll be back. So we're almost there. Both of them at 88%. This is a slow test since they updated it to Geekbench 4. Okay, so it's like they're finally done. And as you see, there's not very little difference in scores. 516 single score, 1316 multi score on the ZTE Warp 7, and 512 single score and 1306 multi score on the Warp Elite. So pretty much the phones are the exact same. They run the exact speed, and there's really no difference. So the whole moral of this story on this review here is the fact that if you have the Warp Elite, this phone here is not an upgrade unless you just got to have Marshmallow, or you plan on traveling globally a whole lot. I mean, really, it's just not worth it to pay $100 for a phone that, if you already have Warp Elite, that runs the same, runs as good, and it basically the same exact phone, you know, with a better screen. To be honest with you, in my opinion, and better reception. So that's just my thoughts. Not really much of a comparison because just really couldn't seem to get my words right today for this comparison. But wanted to just tell you that, it's a great phone if you never had the Elite, but it's not worth an upgrade if you already have it. So if this was a help in any way, leave me that thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Leave a comment down below if you got any questions, and subscribe if you ain't. I'd appreciate it. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see y'all in the next video.